So, as you can see here, I have got a tier list of all chapters seen so far in The Mandalorian across Season 1 and 2. You know, the only two seasons of The Mandalorian. So, I'm going to be, ranking them in this tier list. We've got S, A, B, C, and D. They're in a mumbo-jumbo order, not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up until 16 in that order, to make it a bit more interesting, so we don't just have, all the ones at the end being put higher, because I think Season 2 is better overall. But yeah, I guess we just get started then. The first episode in this tier list is the last episode of Season 1, Chapter 8, where IG-11 sacrifices himself to save Mando. Mando does his sick flying, where he attaches to Moff Gideon's ship. I think it's a fantastic episode, and honestly, we're starting off with an S tier episode. Now, I'm probably going to mix around the order once I get to the end because, I don't know, I might have too many in S and I want to put some down. But yeah, I think that's a great episode. I wish we saw IG-11 a little bit longer, but the way they ended his character was fantastic. Couldn't have asked for too much more. I just, wish there was more of him before he left, but he had a great character arc. I don't really know how you give a droid a character arc, but I mean, he was turned from an assassin that got shot in the head to a nursing droid, so I thought they handled it really well. Now, next up is the episode with Ahsoka, and if I'm being honest, I probably don't like it as much as a lot of people. I do love Ahsoka in Clone Wars and Rebels, but this episode didn't really provide too much. She had an okay fight with that lady, but wasn't really anything special. For someone like Ahsoka Tano that is so acrobatic and fast, it was a pretty lame fight, to be honest, but I know why. She wasn't trying to kill her, she wanted information. Mando was great in this episode, to be honest, but we did get some backstory of Grogu, so it gets props for that, but it's not anything more than a B tier episode for me, or chapter, should I say. Okay, so this one is in Season 2, where we get introduced back to Greef Karga and Cara Dune, where they go to the imperial place. I can't really remember what it's called, but they go with the Mniffer or whatever he's called. I really like this episode. You see the Snoke kind of things maybe in the tank. Mando realizes Moff Gideon didn't die. Genuinely an A tier episode. I really, really liked it, and we got a Lego set out of it as well, I guess. Now this one here is from Season 1, the prison break episode, and I wasn't a fan. It's only in C rather than D because of Mando. Again, he was so good in this episode. His fight against those security droids, I guess they are. I don't actually know. I should probably find that out. Was really, really good. Mayfeld was enjoyable in this episode, but I don't think he was as good in this episode as he is in Season 2. So, not a great episode. It's only Mando and Mayfeld that I actually enjoyed from it, but, I can watch it without being incredibly bored, so it's not terrible. Now, the return of Boba Fett in Season 2, properly this time, not just seeing his face, is a fantastic episode. This is the one where the Dark Troopers take Grogu to Moff Gideon, Fennec Shand and Boba turn up. Genuinely an S tier episode. I believe at the time I preferred it to the Season 2 finale, but I'm not sure where I stand on that now. I guess we will find out in this video. But yeah, it was so good. Seeing the Dark Troopers was incredible. Seeing Boba was incredible. His fight scene before and after putting on the armor was genuinely one of the best fight scenes in Star Wars, including lightsaber fights. That is hands down the best non-lightsaber fight scene I've ever seen. So yeah, this episode solidified my love for Boba Fett, and it's absolutely an S tier episode. And I'm going to reshuffle them within their tiers at the end, but just for now, I'll just put them in their tiers, and that'll be it. Now, Season 1, Episode 1 is quite underrated. I think it is a fantastic introduction, to a series. I think it's better than the Rebels Season 1, Episode 1. I think it's better than Clone Wars Season 1, Episode 1. And I genuinely do put it on the level of Bad Batch Episode 1. That's an incredible episode, but so is this. I really, really like it. It sets the tone for Season 1 fantastically. It got everyone loving Din Djarin because he's just, so cool. The way he beat up the guys in the bar, incredible. We also got a planet that we never seen before, creature we never seen before. Yeah, top tier. Not top tier, but top tier is in. It was good, but it's not going in the top tier. It's going in A tier. Now, the first episode of Season 2 with Cobb Vanth and the Krayt Dragon, again, was an incredible episode. Seeing Boba's armor was great. Quite weird seeing it on someone else, but I did enjoy it. Cobb Vanth's character was something that I really, really liked. I do hope we see him in the book of Boba Fett. I think we will, because we were on Tatooine for that season, most likely, or throughout most of it, most likely. And obviously, he's on Tatooine. I don't know how their interaction would go, but him being the one that had Boba's armor before, I think it's right that they meet at some point. But yeah, this episode was great. Seeing Mando defeat the Krayt Dragon was incredible. This was one of his best feats of intelligence that we've ever seen, I definitely think. And he was willing to sacrifice himself as well. Because he wasn't 100% sure that his plan was going to work, but it did. It worked incredibly, and yeah, the Krayt Dragon is actually my favorite creature in Star Wars. Down to this episode, to be honest, it was incredible, and it's going in S tier as you have seen just then. Now, where Mando makes the decision to go back for Grogu is another fantastic episode. We have the fight scene with all the bounty hunters versus all the Mandalorians. A crazy, crazy good episode. I remember watching this for the first time and I was just cheering on Mando to turn around and go back for Grogu. And yeah, he has a great fight with the stormtroopers in the I don't even know what the place was. The building that he took Grogu to. Pretty cool fight with the stormtroopers. Burnt one of them up. And when all the Mandalorians come to save Din, it's incredible. But he handled himself pretty well against all those bounty hunters at first. And I'm realizing now that I do give Din Djarin quite a bit of slander of how powerful and good of a fighter he is. And I'm realizing probably too much. He is really, really good. He took out a lot of those bounty hunters. He's also had some great fights with other stuff. Like I said, the Krayt Dragon. He's very intelligent. So yeah, I went on a sidetrack there, but Din Djarin is very, very good, and this episode was an A tier for me. Now going back to season 1, when we meet. Now going back to season 1, I believe this is the first time that we see Quill, as Mando is not in full Beskar and in a different picture. He is in full Beskar, so this is the earlier one, and it's going to go in B. Not too much to say, it's a standard episode. I definitely enjoyed it, it was needed. Quill is a cool character, important in season 1, but it wasn't really too special. Decent episode, B tier. Whoa. I've completely forgot what this episode is. The stuff with Quill is okay, but correct me if I'm wrong. This episode is where he goes to get Grogu. So change my mind. That's going in A tier. That's a great episode. The fight scene with him and IG-11 is actually going to go in S tier. That episode is fantastic. I don't know what I'm thinking. I for some reason only remembered half of it. That episode, like I said, is so good. Again, another fight that Mando does very, very well in. IG-11 was really likable in this episode. I thought he was so cool. Is this not the episode where he fights the Mudhorn as well? Because yeah, this is the first time he gets introduced to Quill. This episode has so much stuff. He chases down the Jawas, he fights the Mudhorn, then he goes and gets Grogu. I can't believe I forgot how much was in this episode. I just had to recount to see if there was actually 16 episodes in this tier list, because I couldn't remember that much stuff happened in that episode. That is so packed full of action. That is certified to be an S tier episode. Now, next up, we've got the one where Mando and Cara Dune kind of save that village from the pirates that have an AT-ST, and if I'm being honest, that is the first D tier episode. I really didn't enjoy it. We've seen the kind of they help helpless people to fight off people fighting them multiple times in Clone Wars, and I wasn't a fan of those episodes. The only reason why I liked them at least a little bit was because we had in one of them Obi-Wan, Anakin, Ahsoka, and Embo. And then in another, it was Anakin, Ahsoka, and Aayla Secura, so they carried. But as an overall episode, I wasn't too much of a fan of them. So yeah, this one doesn't really do it for me. It's D tier, not too much to say. Now, this one, however, when we get introduced to Bo-Katan, is another great episode in my opinion. I really enjoyed it. The way they introduced Bo-Katan into The Mandalorian couldn't have been much better in my opinion. She was so cool. She fought very well. And the whole, I know it was kind of a filler episode, but not really. It did lead us to Ahsoka. And it kind of made sense. He's been looking for people of his kind being Mandalorians. He finally finds one, and he asks them where a Jedi is. They send him to a Jedi, or, well, used to be a Jedi. So not really filler at all, to be honest. It was quite needed. But yeah, great episode, and it's going in A tier. Now this one here is Mando and that young, annoying new bounty hunter versus Fennec Shand. Now this again is another one where we see how intelligent Mando actually is. He uses those flares to like caused a distraction to Fennec Shand when she's aiming down her sniper. We also see how good Fennec Shand really is, and we get a teaser for Boba Fett. So this episode, B, to be honest, is definitely not as good as the ones in A tier, but it's still very, very good. So yeah, B tier. Now the penultimate episode of season 1 is pretty good, to be honest. And I'm going to put it in. Where am I going to put it? I'm going to put it in S tier, but I think I'm going to have a reshuffle and it might move down potentially. Still a great episode. We see Mando, Quill, Cara Dune all head to like Greef Karga. They don't know if they can trust Greef Karga, and I love Greef Karga, so him being in this episode heavily helped it out a lot. And yeah, a very enjoyable episode. Those 2 episodes at the end of season 1 are fantastic. Definitely up there with the best episodes in The Mandalorian. Now we've got the Frog Lady episode with the massive spiders on the frozen planet. Yeah, it's another C tier, not too much to say. Wasn't a fan of it. A lot of people called it filler, I would agree, but if Mando never had any problems, then he'd be a bit of a Mary Sue, wouldn't he? So I guess we needed him to struggle at some point. However, yeah, it wasn't too great. Grogu ate some eggs, which was funny, and that's about it. Now this one here, the episode after we get introduced to Boba Fett, we have Mayfeld back, and like I said earlier, he is so much better in this episode than he is in season 1. Genuinely, I've put it in C tier. Genuinely, again, another S tier for me. I am certain that I'm going to move some of these down from S tier because it's looking a bit too full. However, is that really a problem, or is that just how good The Mandalorian is? I believe this episode was my 3rd favourite in season 2. Yeah, I mean, and you can understand why. It was crazy. We got to see a seismic charge, and just the whole Mando and Mayfeld against the pirates was really cool to see. A great episode, and we see that not all of the Empire is truly bad. Like, they all celebrate when Mando and Mayfeld get back to the facility, and the TIE fighters shoot off the pirates to save the day, and it was really cool to get that perspective of the Empire, and I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. S tier until it is changed. And finally, we have the finale of The Mandalorian Season 2, and where else can it go than, where's it gone? S tier, I lost it for a second there. Yep, Luke Skywalker cameo, that alone puts it in S tier, but the whole rest of the episode was incredible. Mando versus the Dark Trooper, he finally figures out that he needs to use his spear in order to defeat the Dark Trooper, then he defeats Moff Gideon, and then the Dark Troopers come back, and then Luke turns up, and it's just so good. And then we see R2 as well. Honestly, I didn't have the most crazy reaction when I first saw this, but I was still like incredibly hyped, but I just didn't have any Star Wars theory reaction with like happy crying tears. But yeah, just genuinely one of the best episodes of anything I've ever seen, so it goes in S tier. So I'm going to give it a bit of a reshuffle now, and then I'll get back to you once I've done that. And there we go then, as you can see on screen, a pretty big reshuffle. We have 5 in S tier, 5 in A tier, then 3 in B, 2 in C, 1 in D. So overall, The Mandalorian is so good, more in the higher tiers than in the lower tiers. That is expected, to be honest. And yeah, I guess that's all for this video. Let me know if you like agree or disagree with my rankings. Is there any particular ones that you would heavily switch? Maybe your favourite episode is the one that I've got down in D. I highly doubt any of you have that opinion, but if you do, please do let me know, because I would be really interested into why you like it so much, because it's just like such an unpopular opinion, so it'd be really cool to see if anyone actually has that opinion. But yeah, please do leave a like if you enjoyed. If you want to do this tier list yourself, then it is simply on tiermaker.com and search up Mandalorian when you're on that website. And yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for 8,600 subscribers. We are edging closer and closer to 10,000 subscribers. That is so crazy. So yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye.